Hello. Welcome everybody back to another stream. Good to have you all. Mr. Vic, g'day Mr. Vic. And Joanne, g'day Joanne. Joanne, how you doing? Hey Miles, how are you mate? Good to see you, good to see you. Welcome everybody, welcome. Hello. Oink. Hey Nico. Steve, good to see you mate. How's the music? How's my volume? Hello Josh, how are you? Michael from Melbourne. Hello Michael. G'day Nick. Hello to you too buddy. G'day Matt. I know Tom. Is Tom in the room? Tom K. Tom's in Euro Yen at the moment. It's about to take TP1. You know how I knew that? Sonar feed. Sonar feed. All right, cool. Hello, Danielle. How we doing? Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Let's go through and have some talks about these trades that are available. Asger's in. Oh, FTT USD just absolutely ripped after it showed up, huh? Look at that 15-minute time frame. These 15-minute time frames have been really cool, right? Some really great trades here on the 15-minute time frame for sure. Hey Alex, welcome back. Welcome back to another stream. Good to have you. All right, get any questions in, guys. Let's get some questions flowing in the chat. Let's get some questions flowing. Let's get some trade talk going. If you're seeing any trades, you want to talk about any trades. If you've got any past trades you want to take a look at or review. Steve with the dab. Love it. Awesome. All right. Let's see if we can catch a trade here as well, yeah? Let's keep our eyes on the 15-minute charts and see if we can catch a trade. I do have USD Yen placed at the moment. I do like the look of USD Yen. We'll see how that goes, but it was coming down and then it just had this recent pump right here. So I really don't know if it's going to continue on to the downside, right? You know, just 15 minutes ago, it was down here and I was like, okay, if we get a quick dip, we could see the pump there straight into TP1 and 2, but we didn't get the dip and instead we saw the pump straight away. So, you know, these things happen. You miss some here and there. If this just continues on to the upside, perhaps a BRC trade comes in here for a retesting continuation like that, yeah? Pound USD killing it. Pound USD. Yeah, so Pound USD was the 1-day time frame trade that got stopped out, right? Yeah, absolutely. And we talked about this. You know, trades are going to get... You're not going to win every single trade, especially around the change in the overall trend in the market, right? So when Pound USD showed up, we had SPX 500 looking downtrending at the time, all right? So this is kind of like that global macro sentiment is kind of dictated in a lot of ways by the equities markets, all right? Or you can use these equity markets to identify these things. Then we had GBP, USD, GBP. Oh, you made profits from the 1 hour trade. Right. I didn't know there was a 1 hour trade. But let's just look at this anyway, right? And let's talk a little bit about correlations here on these two markets. But yeah, awesome work on Pound US dollar 1 hour trade. That's fantastic. So let's just look from, so what do we got here? Like August 30th, like late August kind of thing. Yeah, cool. So it's roughly the same time. So we kind of look at this area right there. And that area right here on this market. Notice how the trend changed here on both of these markets. The trend changed when we broke through this neutral level. on SPX, and it broke through this neutral level on pound USD. All right. So you got to understand that when these overall trends change like this in such a global kind of macro way, this turns from a downtrend into an uptrend all of a sudden, then this happens across a bunch of different markets. This happens like everywhere in the world, essentially. All right. And the exact same thing here. Like if you just put these, if you overlay these on top of each other, they're almost identical. All right. And I'm not saying that you can like predict to not get in this type of thing. But what I'm saying is that when this trend changes, sometimes there's just nothing you can do about it. The trend changes, you get stopped out once, a new trend forms, and then you continue on to the upside or you continue on to the downside. It's just the changing of that overall trend, right? Hello Asger, how you doing? Checking in from Denmark. So that's why Asger's not with us, right? He's in Denmark at the moment. How's Denmark treating you, sir? What have we got? Pound AUD, New Zealand CAD 1 day, USD NOK, and Euro Yen 1 hour. Let's start taking a look at these. Yeah, short position in here. Okay. I don't know about this. So yeah, short position in here on pound Aussie dollar. This is a really nice looking wick and it's around some good market structure as well. Right? It's around some good market structure here. And there's a really nice wick right here on this at this level, okay? So we just draw a box around this level. We can see the market previously has respected this as support. Now it's moved below. It's now respecting it as a resistance, continuing on to the downside. Like the entry was kind of back over. The entry was back over here, really. So you could still place this one for sure. I think it looks good. Nice downtrend, everything like that. Place this one up and see how it goes. But you got to ask yourself, right? Is this the best exposure you can get on pound and Australian dollar? I've got no idea. I haven't checked pound and Australian dollar pairs across the board, but that is the question you need to ask yourself. If that's the best exposure you can find on pound and Australian dollar, go ahead, place it for sure. Go ahead and place it for sure. It's cold, no sun, always raining, and just classic Denmark. NZD CAD, I guess 1 day as well. Oh, yeah, I mean, you got to be looking to get out of break even on this for sure. For sure, out of break even, absolutely. On NZD CAD, I'd be shifting to break even like immediately right now. This like V bottom right here is really not nice, especially now that it's breached this neutral level, right? If it like rejected this neutral level immediately and then it continued on, it would be like, okay, that's sweet, no worries. But now where I've got like this V bottom breaching the neutral level with so much ease, it's like we have to do everything we possibly can now to manage this trade, move to break even, and just let it play out, right? These are your binary options. Move to break even or don't move to break even. Once you move to break even, then either it takes the stop loss or you get out of the trade, okay? So for sure, if you're in New Zealand dollar CAD, look to move to break even, absolutely, on this particular trade at the moment. And what else you got here? USD NOK. And it's on the 1 hour time frame. USD NOK 1 hour. Welcome everybody who's coming in. Introduce yourselves if you're joining now. Welcome, welcome. And yeah, ask any questions. If you have any questions at all, throw them in the chat. I'll get around to them. I'll answer them. If you've got any trades to look at, let me know. Pound CAD one day. Yeah, I'll have a look. USD and okay. Got a 15-minute trade here, and here's a 1 hour trade. Yeah, cool. I mean, have you taken TP1 already? Maybe it's like very close to taking TP1. I mean, it all looks reasonable at the moment. Yes, I did see Euro Yen. I mentioned that at the start of the stream. Euro Yen. I mentioned you were in Euro Yen at the start of the stream. Yeah, absolutely. This looks reasonable. Now, what you've got to think about here is like, let's say we don't make it all the way down to our TP1. Like our TP1 is somewhere around here by the looks of it, somewhere there. So let's say we don't make it all the way down. Like, first of all, right, if you're trading this on the 1 hour time frame and your TP1 level is like here, right? Like that's basically where TP1 is. If you didn't already take that TP1, if the trade didn't actually make it there, if you're right in front of the chart and you see that market getting that close to TP1 within like a few pips, you just close that, all right? You close it at that moment that it's like right on TP1, all right? You've got to be willing to do that on lower time frames because stuff like this exactly this type of thing can happen, okay? You can get the market pushed down, it can get right close to TP1 and then just wick back up again, all right? And if you didn't have the presence of mind or you weren't in front of the chart to actually click the close button as that market was like right there on top of TP1, you may either 1, miss out on that profit, 2, you panic and you hold on to the trade and it stops you out, it takes you all the way to stop loss, right? So it's really important when you're trading lower time frames that you are an active manager now. You're no longer just like passively putting the trade on, waiting to see what it does, and then deciding whether to get out at break even or not, like on the 1 day time frame. Now you're an active participant in this trade. You're actively managing this position. All right. And it's about your presence of mind and your ability to manage yourself at that time to decide between the binary option of do I take the TP1 now manually or do I not, right? And you can screw yourself up so bad here because every single tick is going to be like another knife in your heart. Like if it goes in the opposite direction, it's like a knife in your heart. Oh, I didn't take TP1. I didn't take TP1. I didn't take TP1. All right. So you got to ask yourself, right? If this like comes within a couple of pips of taking my TP1 and I don't close that TP1 there, how am I going to feel if this runs all the way back to entry and then through to take my stop loss? How is that going to make me feel? And if it's going to make you feel some negative kind of way, then you got to just close that trade at TP1 and move the rest to break even, and you don't end up taking TP2 and TP3, right? You've got to actively manage this position. And we had Euro Yen. Euro Yen. Yeah, Euro Yen is looking good, but let me look at Euro Yen here. I saw this one before. I mentioned it at the start as well. Hey, Simran took Euro Yen here on the 15-minute, and that's already taken TP1, 2, and 3. I mean, that's beautiful. Maybe he didn't catch TP entry 3 here, but absolutely caught entries 1 and 2. Absolutely caught entries 1 and 2. And then off to the races here for Simran. Here it is. That should have been out at... Oh, no. Yeah, exact same deal here, right? You're in profit right now, but you got to make that decision. Will you get out of this when it gets close to TP1, right? Back up to this level right here. You got to manage that thing, all right? You got to be sitting in front of it, managing it. Oh, look at that. Are we at all-time highs? Oh, is that an all-time high? Woo! Happy all-time high, everybody. Happy all-time high. Happy all-time high in the chat. Awesome. All right, cool. Very good. And there was one other, Miles, pound CAD you wanted to look at on the 1 day time frame, pound CAD. Let's take a look. Happy all-time high. Yeah, nice wick off. I mean, TP1 taken already, right? So you'd be setting the rest to break even. But, okay, so this is now played out one time already, okay? This is now played out one time to TP1 here. Yeah, absolutely. Drop a like, Euless. If you haven't dropped a like already, everyone drop a like on the stream, please. Drop a like on the stream. You've caught one entry, you've got to TP1. Now you've got to ask yourself, do I take this trade again? All right, do I take this trade again after this? I'm probably not going to jump into this trade again in this situation, okay? If I've just taken TP1 in this scenario, I'm moving on and going and find something else because this rejected TP1 so quick. So quick, all right? Look how quickly this has rejected TP1. Okay, I don't want it to reject TP1 like that quickly. All right, I want this to just now like absolutely die. I don't want it to hit my entry, take TP1, and then have this like immediate rejection back into the entry again. Like that's not nice price action. That's not nice price action to see, okay? So obviously we've got 7 hours and 10 minutes until this candle closes. So this could just absolutely dump down further again. But immediately right now, I don't like this wick straight off TP1. I wouldn't want to see this then like engulf back into the entry again. Like I just wouldn't want to see that. So I probably wouldn't take it because this really could move up to like there somewhere, you know, that really could move up to there somewhere. And then an entry be in around there somewhere, right? Probably this like 75% alignment level that'll likely form in there between this hard resistance and this neutral. If we see like some sudden bullish momentum in this market right here, okay? Asger had Euro Yen 15 minute. Yeah, that was awesome. Absolutely. All right, cool. What have I got placed here? I've got placed a trade, I believe, on US dollar, Japanese yen. US dollar, Japanese yen. Yeah, I talked about this one already, right? So I don't mind the idea of like a quick dump in here, quick bounce back out, and then that's it, right? I don't mind that idea. I was like kind of hoping that this was gonna like continue on down, and then this rally that came in like right there was gonna come right around my support level here, but it wasn't to be, right? So we'll see what happens on this one. We'll see if we do catch the entry in the stream here. Yeah, no worries, Miles. No worries. Oh yeah, you had a bunch of those like markets that were all correlated, right? In the chat, yeah? You had a bunch of those markets that were all correlated. Can you remind me what they were again? I remember pound US dollar, and I remember Swiss franc, Japanese yen. Okay, cool. So let's just like look at this here, right? Let's look at this market against this market right now. So on the 1 day time frame, obviously. There. So from like the So you can see here, like just looking at the price action across these two markets right now. Okay, so this is throughout like mid to late May, this area right here, which correlates almost exactly with this consolidation right here. We then have the dip to the downside, this like choppy consolidation, and then most importantly, right, while the S&P 500 is downtrending at the same time, we've got around the end of September here, like the bottom comes in on pound US dollar. The bottom also comes in right around that same kind of time in late September here on Swiss franc, Japanese yen, like in this kind of time frame around here, all right? And then both just pump to the upside all of a sudden. So your trade on pound US dollar right there was almost identical to your trade wherever that was on Swiss franc, Japanese yen. That was like there somewhere. All right, it's the same neutral level, it's the same price action moving into the level, it's around the same time, and these markets all of a sudden moved very similarly, and you can see that with like RTD here, right? So like these markets were both in like downtrends, and then what happened here is pound US dollar crossed over, so did Swiss franc, Japanese yen, it crossed over as well at the same time. So yeah, can you see that correlation now between these two markets? And understanding that it's like, when you look at the price action, you look at how the RTD is looking, you're basically taking almost an identical trade. It's just something to be mindful of, right? You know, the good thing is that it's like you can do that and you're not going to lose that much. You're not going to lose that much if you did do that, right? Pound US dollar. I can see Australian dollar, US dollar in that list. I can see pound Japanese yen in that list. So obviously, like inherently Swiss franc, Japanese yen and pound yen are both correlated. So is New Zealand dollar pound. They're correlated as well because they all have pound in them. And then pound US dollar and Australian dollar, US dollar have US dollar in them. So they're inherently correlated as well. So Japanese yen and US dollar move in a similar manner. Japanese yen and US dollar are like these flight to safety kind of assets, right? So when the S&P 500 dips, typically, the US dollar and the Japanese yen appreciate in value because the outflows from the S&P 500 and the outflows from equities have to move into US dollars, right? That's just the nature, because when you're trading like an equities, when you're trading equities, you're trading that against US dollars in 99% of the cases, all right? So this is just what happens. And Japanese yen is just a well-known flight to safety type asset. So these two move in pretty heavy correlations, especially in moments of high volatility and when, you know, global macroeconomic sentiment is changing, all right? So, but, you know, in general, out of those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that you just mentioned, 3 of them have the same currency pair anyway. 3 have all got Japanese yen and 2 all have US dollar. So those 3 are obviously correlated and those 2 are obviously correlated straight away right there. But it just so happens that all 5, when you're looking at the price action on the chart, all were moving in a very similar manner. All right, let's check out the hot trades here. All right, cool. Get any other questions in, guys, as well. Get your questions in, get your trades in that you're looking at the moment. Let's see if there's anything here that is piquing my interest. All right, pound yen looks like a strong trend here. I mean, just immediately look at this price action right here, right? Let's just scroll this out a little bit further. Look at this price action right here. Just an absolute rip to the upside. Big parabolic move here. So this is exactly what you need to be doing in this type of move. This trade right here is exactly what you need to be doing. All right, it's disappeared for now off the chart, but it's something like this right here is roughly the trade. Something like that right there. So if you're an X mode trader, you can go set that one up on X mode. I think it looks really great. Like very, very strong global uptrend, very strong local uptrend, just a market that's absolutely moving to the upside in a very strong manner. Okay, from a price action perspective, this looks really good. And now we're just looking for coming back into that level relatively quickly to move back in line with this overall move to the upside. Okay, I think it looks very reasonable. All right, there's tons of buyers sitting in this market, right? You can see there's tons of buyers sitting in this market, ready to scoop up as much British pound versus the Japanese yen as they possibly could. All right, so this looks like a really reasonable looking trade here. It's not showing up right now on the chart, but maybe it does show up again shortly. That's kind of moved on a bit too far. Let's see what else we got here. Cardano. Pound yen caught at entry 1 for Simrad on pound yen. Strong uptrend, looking good. Let's look at this trade, right? So it was something like this, with 3 entries just like that. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Oh, does it? Awesome. I'll check that. So let's take a look overall, right? Let's just zoom out first of all and go, all right, sweet. Well, again, look at this market. Look at how strong this market looks. Pound yen. All right, look at how strong this market looks. Then secondly, it's like, okay, look at this area right here over to the left here. This area of like market structure that kind of formed. Then we punched back out to the upside, and then we just kind of like fell out of the sky almost straight into this really important support level to this market. All right, this is like an incredibly important support level because you got to understand, right? This is like the market range. So this trade idea here is basically saying, pound yen, wherever it is, this pound yen trade idea that Simran caught on the 15-minute time frame is basically like, the idea is that we've got this market range that has established itself, and all of a sudden there's like this bearish momentum pushing us into the bottom of that market range. So it's like, if the bulls don't step in now, then the bulls lose this new market range that they've formed. All right, so this is where there's a ton of like buy orders, bullish liquidity all around this area right here, and you can expect like a bunch of like bulls to come in right here because they know that it's like, we need to defend this area right here to maintain this bullish momentum to the upside. All right, so that's kind of the idea of the extension trade. And let me tell you right now, the 15-minute extension trades have been on absolute fire. They've been on absolute fire. All right, exactly this type of price action that we're seeing right here, where we have the market just absolutely dumped straight into the level. The bulls just immediately step in, and if you didn't have those limit orders placed and you weren't willing to step in front of this momentum to the downside, then you were never going to catch this entry. All right, so it's about managing yourself well enough to understand the thesis, step in front of this momentum, catch the entry, then continue on to the upside, because these 15-minute extension trades have been incredible, especially on my first touch, just like this. All right. You know what? If this now came in again and retested it like immediately, I wouldn't be as keen to take this one. But I love it when it just falls out of the sky. We get the first test and we get the quick bounce off. All right. So don't be scared to take these 15-minute extension trades. If you lose, you'll learn something. If you win, you'll learn something about yourself and how you manage your emotions, and you'll learn something about managing a trade. And if you win, happy days, you just won some money. All right. So these 15-minute extension trades are awesome. Really, really, really awesome. All right. Really awesome. All right. You said there's pound yen showing up on the 1 day time frame. All right, cool. I mean, again, like, look at pound yen. Just like across the board, pound yen is just absolutely pumping, right? It's just absolutely pumping across the board. And it's like, we zoom out, it's like when you're kind of in here, you go, oh, that like entry might be a little bit aggressive. That I mean, that TP, you know, is that reasonable? Is that TP really reasonable? But when you zoom out, you go, oh yeah, sweet. Like, we've been here plenty in the past, right? We've been here plenty in the past. So yeah, I think it looks like a reasonable position. I think it looks like a reasonable position. I think it looks reasonable. We've had a few candles close here up above the level. I'd love to see this just dip in, continue on to the upside, form a sort of like a bull flag right there, something like that, you know? Just like that. That would look awesome. That would look really fantastic from a price action perspective. We've got this previous market structure around here. Great looking uptrend. Reasonable TPs, like I mentioned before. Looks great. Looks good to me. When I say that though, could you lose it? Yeah, sure, you could lose it. But let's say you do lose the position. You learn something about managing a trade if you lose. And if you win, awesome. You win some money. All right, guys. Any other questions? Get them in. Get them in. Asger, are you looking at anything at the moment? You've probably got your eyes on BTC, don't you? Yeah, nice. All-time highs, $66,000 for one Bitcoin. That's just great, isn't it? That's just amazing. You know, I actually bought my sister Bitcoin back in September for her birthday. In September 2020, 21st of September 2020. So where's that? Right about right there, roughly. That's the 20th, but whatever. Right there, I bought my sister Bitcoin. So yeah, that's awesome. Like, what, 10K, something like this? Yeah, about 10, bit over 10K, 10, 11K BTC. What a great birthday present. That's what I think anyway. I think I'm a fantastic brother. All right, guys, any other questions? Get them in. What are people talking about at the moment on the Sonar feed? What are people talking about? Simran with his TPs. I'm looking at this one here. USD Japanese yen. Talked about that one already. Loga, I wish I had such brother. Absolutely. Yes, you're a great brother. I agree, Steve. I agree, Loga. I am a great brother. Rejecting. Let's see how Tomo's going here. Awesome. That's a great piece of price action right here around the level. That is exactly what you want to see around a level like this, right? Like, who sees what I see here, right? Who can put in the chat what I see here, right? Just what looks really great about this trade? I don't buy Bitcoins for my wife. Oh, Steve. Steve. So that's the trade, something like that, right? Very, very close to taking a TP1 here. Very, very, very close. So what do we see here at this level? What do we see that we really love? Yeah, absolutely, Jocelyn. Love that. That's exactly what I was thinking as well. Absolutely love this wick. Like, this level, look how great this level is respected by this market. Look, like, okay, first of all, let's just talk about this whole thing. Euro yen. Just like pound yen is just absolutely pumping, right? We've got a parabolic move to the upside. Like, this is parabolic. Just a parabolic run, just buyers just wanting to get into this market at all costs right now. They want to sell their Japanese yen and they want to buy their bloody euros, okay? They absolutely want to grab this. Okay? So, what we're seeing now is obviously a pullback in this market, and let's see how previous pullbacks have gone as well, okay? So like this previous pullback right here, found some support, continued on to the upside. You know, buyers still wanted to stay in this market, all right? Buyers still want to stay in this market. We've got a really great level here as well, okay? We've got this market structure over here to the left. You can see right there the market structure, and it just so happens that that wick came straight into that market structure right there. Okay, we then have the bullish engulfing candle to follow it, and it's like, if I'm seeing this, if I'm in this trade like Tom, Sanya, like Joanne, like Jocelyn, then I am like sitting pretty right now. I am super pleased with this position, and all I'm thinking about is as soon as we get somewhere around here, I'm just gonna close this one. All right, I'm just gonna close this one, take my TP1, move on. All right, so that's awesome. Just fantastic trade. Just like a really well put together trade, I think. So well done to everyone who got into that one. Really well put together trade. That's exactly the type of things you want to be looking for when you're trading these lower time frames, when you're trading higher time frames, when you're trading all of it. You've just got to be really mindful that you can see more volatility in the lower time frames, right? You can see deeper pullbacks. You can see deeper pullbacks, more volatility, you know, just like no volatility, just all of a sudden becomes more volatility on these lower time frames. So I want you guys to be able to trade these lower time frames. I really want you guys to be able to manage yourself in these, because, you know, you can get these amazing opportunities just like this here, okay? Just like this here. It just means you've got to be a more active participant in the trade. Let's go back to BTC and take a look at what's going on here. I want to look at a higher time frame on BTC and take a look at, you know, what could be going on right now, okay? Because I'm really mindful that we're actually pushing into a 4-hour extension 1 right here. All right, so this is a really important level to this market. A 4-hour extension 1 means we could see some volatility, but if we clear through this extension 2, it's like, oh my gosh, we have like clear space basically all the way to 75K if we clear through that extension 2. So if we break the extension 2 on the 4-hour time frame, I really, this third position, I would just move it to break even, and I would let it run to the third, to TP3, right? I'll just let it run to TP3, the third position, right? I'm not closing everything all at once. I'm closing the TP1, then I'm moving the rest to break even, and then I'm just letting the rest run, because it's that TP3 that gives you that greater than 1 risk to reward ratio, which coupled with a greater than 50% winning rate gives you a profitable system and gives you an edge over the long run. Okay, so I'm not just like market closing everything at once. I'm gonna leave TP3 in and I'm gonna just let it run to TP3. Yeah, awesome, cool. So, you know, we could see a bit of volatility here because we are at an incredibly important point in BTC. We're at extension 1 on the 4-hour time frame. If extension 2 breaks, then we're very likely to see a significant move all the way up to 75K right here, right? 75K is absolutely in the in our crosshairs if we see extension 2 break. But this extension 1 could cause a little bit of volatility, and we might see, you know, some chop through here potentially. All right, you know, we've had a break now of all-time highs, so you've got to think, what are the retail traders thinking right now? This is the type of thing that it's like, you're not buying BTC right here. You're not buying BTC right here, because that is what the retail degenerates are doing. They're seeing a breakout of all-time highs and they're going, oh, I'm gonna just like margin long my entire life into BTC right now. And that's how you get completely wrecked. All right, it happens. People will always find a way to sell the bottom of something and buy the top. Okay, think about the rhetoric that was being said all the way back down here. All right, you know, down here it was like BTC to 0. BTC to 0 was the idea. Everyone's selling here. It pumps up again. Everyone who sold here just realized that they missed out on doubling their money in BTC. And now they're like, oh, okay, I'm going to buy it now. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to FOMO in here at the top. People will always find a way to buy a bottom and sell a top. Buy a top and sell a bottom. Just remember that. People will always find a way to do that. Let's see what new trades just showed up here. We've got, okay, the stocks market's opening here in the States. That's a bloody nice candle on GM right there. Let me just make that a little bit bigger for you. That's a nice candle. That's just, I don't know what's going on here, so I'm gonna move away from that. Chainlink. Okay, if you see this pushing through like that, let's say you're in a 15-minute time frame trade. You're in a 15-minute time frame trade just like this one here, and it pushes through just like this, okay? Now is when you've got to be making that decision. Do I move to get out at break even, or do I let this thing run? Okay? And what this is, because this is Chainlink US dollar. So this is going to be incredibly dependent on what happens with BTC around the same time, right? So we've got BTC pushing through all-time highs. If BTC continues up to the upside, then we're very likely to see Chainlink continue on to the upside as well. All right, so you're a 15-minute time frame trader right now. You're in this trade. It's pushing back down again. What are you doing? What are you thinking? How are you managing this? Because this is your performance in the moment. This is all that matters right now. That is your trade, essentially. What I'm probably doing is seeing how this candle closes. And if this extension 1 starts acting as a support, I'm absolutely out of this at break even for sure. I'm almost considering getting out at break even right now, waiting for this to get back below again, retest it, and then continue on like that, right? So I would probably be setting to break even right now, getting out of it, understanding that, you know what, if this dumps, so be it, but I'd probably be getting out at break even as we speak right now, and then I would retake it on the retest if we see that happening. Okay, we're seeing some volatility come in here. Let's see what's going on in BTC. I'm very interested to see if this extension one on BTC on the 4-hour time frame is actually being respected as a resistance here. Not as much volatility. Nowhere near as much volatility. 4-hour time frame still looks okay. Yeah, we're still above it, but like I said before, we could see some stuff going on here. Chain link. Okay, cool. So you're in this trade here. For those of you that decided to get out, you just caught that out point right there in the middle of those 3 entries. And you're out at break even. You've protected yourself. And what you can do is you can just simply wait and go, all right, well, I'll catch it right there on the continuation to the downside, if that does continue. But looking at this RTD, right, you're absolutely getting out of this, because I just realized right now the trend has actually changed to an uptrend. I didn't even see this before. I was just so focused on the price action. I was literally just, yeah, you're right, Jocelyn. I was so focused on the price action of what was going in the moment. I didn't even look at RTD, and I didn't even notice that this has now moved into an uptrend since this trade was found like 48 minutes ago. All right. So absolutely the decision was to get out at break even. And if you made that decision, like that's how long you've had on the 15-minute time frame. It was like there for a moment. It was like there for 10 seconds. And now it's no longer there anymore. Right? Like you don't have long on these time frames to make these decisions. All right. You really don't have long. Now with this market looking the way it is, I'm no longer doing anything in this market. I'm not going long from here. I'm not going short from anywhere, because we're just not in a very good trend, okay? This could chop back below incredibly easily. This could dump back down. That moves back into a downtrend. This could rip to the upside. This moves into a stronger uptrend. This could just screw around right here for a while. This moves into just like a shitty sideways market. I have no idea. That is not the type of trend I want to buy. The type of thing I want to buy is that euro yen, pound yen, that type of stuff that's absolutely pumping right now. That is what I want to go and buy. Not this market right now. All right. I wouldn't be buying this type of thing at the moment. I'm going to find those strong pumpy markets. Any chance we could look at Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar? Yeah, for sure. I hate Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar. I hate it with the passion. I hate trading it. It's just an absolute chop fest of a market. No. Sideways straight away, right? Sideways market. See, this is what I mean about this shitcoin of a market. Like, I hate this market so much. Like, look at this just tear through this level and then just dump back down again. Like, you see that just all the time in this market. And that's just something that I do not want to trade with. I do not like trading in Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar because of this.
Would you come with me and run away?
Like, look at this right here. So Adrian, Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, I don't like trading it personally. And immediately when I look at this market right now, I see that we're sideways. We've got the local in like a strong downtrend. We've got the global in an average uptrend. And it's just like invalidating itself right now with this like really just dumb looking price action. All right. So it's the same shit as like here. It's the same shit as 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 over here. It's just like, oh, over here, sorry. It's just same as here, or there as well. Like, I just don't like this market. It just, it just doesn't respect structure very well at all. And it just chops back and forth all the time, constantly. All right. So in general, I just avoid this market personally. But yeah, immediately from an objective map place, like if you were like, okay, well, I don't have that experience to just not know to trade Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, or like I haven't had that same experience as you have had on Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, then objectively, immediately, the first thing I see is sideways, and I go, nope, I don't care about this anymore. What I care about is a strong trend. Like I said, why would I care? So yeah, why would I care about this market right now, which is like sideways chop, just gross, when I could trade around something else that's like in a really bloody beautiful uptrend, like pound yen, USD NOK about to hit TP1 and 2. People, I just closed mine. Yeah, nice. USD NOK, let's take a look. I'll take a look at your comment there as well. Jocelyn. Was it a lower time frame trade maybe or something? I mean, again, like USD NOK, like this is the... Oh. Look at this just get rejected out of this extension level here. Oh my God. Just beautiful. But you're shitting your pants if you're seeing this, right? Like if you're seeing that move right there, you're like completely shitting yourself, stepping in front of that momentum. But then it's like punch straight into like the top of this range and just dump straight out of it. That is the extension trade. That is the EXT trade. All right. The bears defending their market structure after this like strange move in a massive downtrend. All right. Like, oh my gosh. I guess you maybe look at a 1 hour time frame trade. Ah, yeah, look at that. Look at that. I mean, if you didn't want to take 15-minute, you've got the 1 hour opportunity right here. It's probably something like that was the trade, I think it was. Yeah, beautiful. Like, look at this. This is exactly what you want to see, right? Yes, you've got 1 candle close above. Okay, but then immediately after you had a bearish engulfing that just punched it straight through. Like, just fantastic. Just fantastic. Comes through, takes TP1. That is a crazy circle. Comes through, takes TP1 and 2. Then there's the continuation. Let's try to find that one on the feed. I'm pretty sure I saw it like not long ago. This is some calming music, right? Oh, here it is. Bang. Straight out of there. That's the 15-minute. And I'm sure there was a 1 hour trade as well that would have showed up. Hello. Cloud Spirit S. Hello, Clouded Spirit S. Yeah, risk on, risk off. Very, very simple for you. Very, very simple, right? Very simple. Risk on, risk off. The best way to judge risk on, risk off is just simply about the trend of the S&P 500, all right? When the S&P 500 is doing this, we're in a risk on environment. When the S&P 500 does this, we're in a risk off environment, okay? Means that money is moving out of risky assets into less risky assets, okay? So the flow of funds is moving into cash, it's moving into bonds, it's moving into like US dollar and Japanese yen, things like that. And the thing is, like, when that happens, it sends ripple effects through every single market in the world, all right? It's like going from being just a pullback in the S&P 500, just like that, or just a pullback in risky markets, to be an actual change in trend when something like that happens. But then immediately, it just continued on to the upside. This is what happens in a market where you're printing, you know, trillions of dollars and pumping into it, right? That is a risk-off environment right there, okay? It's gone from a pullback in a bullish equities market to being an actual downtrend in an equities market, all right? This is when money is flowing out of risky assets. End of 2018, money flowing out of risky assets, all right? And you can see correlations to each one of these times across every single market in the world. All right, and every single market in the world reacts slightly differently to when these risk on and risk off moments happen, okay? But it's like these moments of volatility, you could think of it like, all right? And everything just has a reaction to it. NZD USD for Clouded Spirit S. Get your last questions in, guys, and then I'll sign off, all right? Get your last questions in and I'll sign off, but hopefully you enjoyed taking a look at those sonar trades, especially on the low time frames, yeah? Really cool. Yeah, bullish momentum, looks cool. Something like that, for sure. Yeah, I like it. It is a little bit choppy, I gotta actually say. Like, if you look at this kind of area in general, it is a little bit choppy. It's only like a really freshly established trend, and you can see the way that the RTD has crossed through it over and over. But my question would be, once more, right? Can you identify New Zealand dollar exposure or US dollar exposure that is in a better trend than this? Because when I look at this, you know, when I look at the price action on this market, I don't love this right here. You know, I don't love that at all. So it's like, you know, again, for me, it's like, would I like love to throw myself into this? Sure, like gun to my head, if I had to go and take a trade, that's probably the trade that I'm taking. Or that's probably the trade that I'm taking right now. If it's like gun to my head, I have to trade this. But overall, it's like with like how picky I am, I personally wouldn't pick this. I would go and pick, like I said, I'd go and be finding a 4-hour entry on pound Japanese yen instead. Absolutely, like this 4-hour trade right here on pound yen in this like massive bull trend across like all time frames is what I would much prefer to go and place my capital into. All right, for me, but you know, everyone trades a bit differently. This is a new trend. It could absolutely just come in here and rip on to the upside for sure, but it's only just moving into a global uptrend. Only just, okay? And for me, if it's like there's any reason to not take a trade, I won't take that trade. If I can find like, I'm looking for reasons to not take something more than I'm looking for reasons to take something, okay? Like this is really important. Looking for a reason not to take a trade more than looking for a reason to take a trade. I'm not gonna go and build some thesis to go and throw myself into this trade when I don't have to. I'm gonna look for all the reasons not to take this position. And if those reasons are enough, then I go, okay, I'm not taking it. And then just like Japanese yen, pound yen here, I'm looking for all the reasons not to take this trade. But if I'm comparing these two and I've got these two opportunities available for me, then I'm like, okay, cool. These both showed up at pretty similar times. I've got pretty similar, you know, they both showed up at pretty similar times. And it's like, okay, cool. Well, one has just moved into an uptrend. The other one is in like an incredibly strong uptrend. So from that perspective, it's like, okay, cool. I'd way rather take pound yen. If I'm seeing a pullback here like this, I'm probably going to see the same bloody pullback on pound yen as well. So which one do I want to get into? I want to get into pound yen for sure. Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar. Oh yeah, we looked at that for sure, yeah. Well, let me just look at it again. I don't really remember it 100%. Are you in a long position here? If you're in a long position, move it to break even for sure. Yeah, absolutely. I'd be for sure getting out of break even on this here. For sure. And you know what? If you feel like, you know, you've been getting out of break even a lot or whatever, sometimes this is what you have to do. When a market trend changes like this and then immediately changes back again, it's like your number one job as a trader is to protect that capital. So it's like you're always thinking about, how do I get out of break even? When do I get out of break even? What do I do to get out of break even? Should I get out of break even? Because it's so much more profound and so much more important to your overall success as a trader to not lose than it is to win. And this is really like what people don't get, all right? Not losing is so much more important than winning, okay? And it's gonna sound dumb, but when you do like an expectancy, expected value calculation based on your strategy, you realize that every single time I don't lose and it increases my win rate because I'm not losing in that moment, it increases my expected value per trade dramatically. And that is the job, that is the work of a trader. Being like, how don't I lose capital? How don't I lose capital, okay? You know, whenever I talk to fund managers, like big fund managers, because I worked with like a bunch of big fund managers, right? Whenever I used to have meetings with these guys, it was like, how do we protect clients' capital? And then after that, how do we like protect clients' capital? And then how do we produce alpha? How do we produce market beating returns after we have secured the client's capital and protected the client's capital? That has always been the number one focus for fund managers all over the world, all the time, okay? So when you're trading, when you're investing, when you're operating in financial markets, not losing is just so much more important than anything else. Protecting that capital keeps you in the game. USD Mexican peso. Let's look, and then that's going to be my last one, guys. All right. This looks the same as Australian dollar, Japanese yen. Immediately, as soon as this chart flicked over, I was like, same as New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen. Like that price action just looks so similar to me. All right. Recently, it does. But okay, let me tell you this. If this candle doesn't get us back above the entry, I'm probably moving myself to break even. I'm waiting for this candle to close. And if all of a sudden I get this move back above the entry, fantastic. I love it. But overall, I'm only giving this one last candle before I make my decision to move to break even, okay? The reason is because look at where we are in the RTD. It's like, if this doesn't hold right now, the local crosses the global. If this doesn't hold at this moment right now, the local crosses the global, okay? So yeah, I'm looking at what this candle's gonna do. If it doesn't get back above in this candle, I'll close it I'll get out of break even. If we then do get it back above like after like that, I'll maybe consider a trade onto the upside just like that there, okay? That's what my thoughts are on USD Mexican peso. Looks really similar in recent price action to Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, doesn't it? Just go and have a look at, let's have a look at these real quick. I'm not saying forever, I'm just saying like right now, okay? Because you got to understand about these correlations, right? They don't happen forever. They're not forever things. They're like, what is the macroeconomic world looking like right now? And how is that affecting these correlations? So if we zoom in to around about right there on both of these markets. Let me just zoom in a little bit more on that. Let me just zoom in a little bit more on that. Let's get, where are we? Right around there, I guess. Somewhere there. Look at that. Breach the neutral. Breach the neutral. Bottoming here. Bottoming here. Parabolic move. Parabolic move. This is the like type of things that it's like when you want to take your like trading beyond what it is right now, this is the type of things that you identify, right? You identify this type of stuff right here and you go, oh fuck, that is moving exactly the same as that is moving into my neutral level right now. In the exact identical way. RTD almost looks exactly the same. Very, very, very important. And just like, you don't ever hear about this type of stuff anywhere on the internet, right? Because you just don't hear about this, or you don't even have a mind to think about this if you don't have all of these tools that we've built here, right? This level of importance has just been breached. This RTD, this trend is being invalidated as we speak in the exact same way. So, you know what? Like, I would say that these two markets are correlated right now, even though we don't have any similarities in the underlying pairs. All right. And when you get an understanding of this is when you really can take your trading to the next level and you can protect that capital at a very, very high level. Okay. At a very, very high level. All right. Cool. Guys, thank you so much for joining me once more. I appreciate it very much. And I'll talk to you all soon, okay? Have a fantastic rest of your day. Have a fantastic week. And yeah, talk soon. All right, guys. Thank you.